Rap Sucks Radio. Blah, 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 blah.
What up, man? It is going down.
I'm cold though. I just woke up, so I'm cold.
I had a feeling you were getting a good rest in for
I should put on a mask.
I had my homemade mask when I rolled out today, man. I was feeling pretty fresh.
I saw that, man. Let me tell you something. If you take a t-shirt, a promotional t-shirt from the 90s,
yeah,
and cut the sleeve off,
yeah,
and just put it right over your head. I'm not joking. It's the perfect mask.
Wow. Yeah, because the t-shirts were so large. What up, Abloon? What's going on, brother? Yeah. Yeah, man. That how to make a mask thing was pretty fresh though, just to fold the item up and put two little, my daughters and my wife are around here, so I have hella scrunchies or whatever. Yeah. So that's how that works.
Really? Would you really needed them for that? I saw you out today.
I know.
With the
thing. Well, yeah, mine are larger than theirs though, because my hair is not.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I need I can't use mine. We got a lot on the menu today, Kev. We got a lot on the menu. Well, I mean, I think this topic is a lot.
Why don't you tell everybody, all the anybody who's tuning in because they happen to see this because I mistakenly logged in from my account, what this is.
What up, y'all? You are live on Rap Sucks Radio with your homeboy Trek Life and your fam, Kev Sakota.
Freshly napped.
Me too.
Oh, nicely done. Nicely done.
This is Rap Sucks Radio, as I mentioned before. Crack a can of old head energy, kick it with your folks, man. We're chilling. And look, this is the thing, man. The kids should be somewhat either asleep or on their way to being asleep. Grab a glass of wine or grab a brew or grab something, some cognac, whatever. And, get down with us. You know what I'm saying? This is your moment to chill. See? He's doing the right thing. So yeah, we got some topics to discuss. This is also the In Here Trippin' edition. So if you go back and listen to any of our first 50 episodes, we drop those every Tuesday. But we've been dropping an episode every day since the quarantine commission. So yeah, we on. Abloon with the scotch, what it is. Let's go. So
that's right. Keep it international. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Irish
and you can
whiskey.
find all 50 plus of those episodes at rapsucksradio.com.
Exactly. So yes. So
look at the man.
Oh snap!
I don't know if Juggy's not going to stay on very long, but Juggy has been doing the work, representing Salt Lake City, the greater Utah area, and the entire world of DJing. DJ Juggy doing the big things.
What up, man?
Spinning 45s, actual vinyl, as well as all the virtual. He's got the biggest Funko collection in the entire universe. My man.
Hard work out there. What up, brother? All right, Kev. So this was a touchy subject in my home, so I'm going to.
What was it?
Yes, it absolutely was.
Okay.
So I got
talk about it.
I got Andrew Yang doing too much. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why is because Andrew Yang says in his op-ed in the Washington Post, he said that Asians need to, quote, show our Americanness, unquote, in order to avoid racism. Now, your title for this was Yang One's Part 2. That
might be a little inside. We'll get into the insideness of that maybe a little later on. But yeah. Yang gang out here tripping, in here doing too much.
All of it. So I actually have backed off of my opinion of it is backed off of a little bit because I don't feel like it's entirely my place to say some of the things I would say if Andrew Yang was Andrew Johnson. So, but there are some parallels here, but I'm gonna let you kind of take this one over because you want me to read the whole situation first, or you want to jump in?
Sure. Yeah. Because I don't know that everybody knows.
All right. So for those of you guys who are not up on the information, Andrew Yang wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post where he discussed the current racist and bigoted attacks on Asians due to the coronavirus. They're all ignorant, and they're not only, I just want to make this very clear, this is not only happening by white people, by the way. This is black folks is doing it. My Latino and Hispanic brethren are doing it. This is not one of those things where we can point at white people and say white people are tripping. This is goes deeper than that, as do most of these kind of racial things. We tend to put all of the weight on white people, but that's really not always the case. So anyway, so let's kind of read some of the things he said. The Huffington Post reported his article, but he actually has the op-ed, which I would prefer to deal with it in his words, if that's all right with you. He says, the meat of this whole conversation is this quote from him. We Asian Americans need to embrace and show our Americanness in ways we never have before. We need to step up, help our neighbors, donate gear, vote, wear red, white, and blue, volunteer, fund aid organizations, and do everything in our power to accelerate the end of this crisis. We should show without a shadow of a doubt that we are Americans who will do our part for our country in this time of need. Demonstrate that we are part of the solution. We are not the virus, but we can be part of the cure. In that particular quote. There's more, but I'll let you go ahead and take it from here.
Well, okay, so the first thing that I will say is that in a vacuum, his comments, and you know, we're going to take it, I think you kind of have to take it out of context because of who he is, and his background and what he's talked about and what he seems to have stood for during his presidential run. But he should have been speaking to everybody, all Americans.
Sure.
We could all serve to endeavor to do any of a number of the things that he talked about. Yes. But the problem is that the lens through which he said those things, or through which we see those things, is that we need to do any one of that laundry list of things to prove that we are somehow American.
Right.
Or American enough.
Right.
That's where the problem comes in.
100%. Yeah.
So, I actually prepared.
All right.
So I'm just going to go ahead and more or less read this.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So this is a measured response to former candidate Andrew Yang's opinion piece.
Listening.
Based on his birthday, he probably would have been a freshman when I was a senior, which by American law would have meant that I'm legally permitted to put his head in a toilet for the rest of my life. So I'm gonna hold that card. We'll see how he acts moving forward. The donkey in chief has done more than just about any other federal official in our era to ridiculously define what determines a person's right to legally stand on this piece of stolen land.
Yep.
You may think he walled off whatever the hell he supposedly walled off because it was necessary. You may think that putting kids in cages is all just part of the game. And if so, you're a donkey. You may think that he did it because he was focused on protecting your fellow citizens. Well, your fellow documented citizens are now in the hospital, if they're lucky, because he was focused on an otherwise relatively inconsequential threat.
Yes.
When he should have been focused on what is happening now.
Yep.
That perhaps could have been, mitigated, if not stopped. Meanwhile, Mr. Yang expressed an opinion that many other non-white Americans have expressed since not now, or not in the last 3 months, but since this country was founded. Be more American. Do more American stuff. Act more like the Americans who've been shitting on you and yours every single day, even though their own grandparents were subjected to anti-Irish, anti-German, anti-Jewish, and yes, anti-Asian invective on the streets of our country since they came here.
Correct.
So no,
Yeah.
cut it out.
Yep.
Maybe just spend your mic time urging every American to pay more attention, to read, to realize that if the words fake news are in your lexicon, seek out the real news and act upon it. If your quote unquote real news is telling you that everything is fine, then why is Babylon burning around you? There's no separately protected Midwest red state Babylon. You're in it, Holmes. Seek truth from those who don't agree with you on everything, not because they're right, but because you just might be a stupid donkey whose grandmother is about to end up needing a ventilator from China. Also, realize that as a species, donkeys are not Trumpy. Donkeys are widely considered to be smarter, more personable, and more overly protective than horses. They also carry the loads that most humans are too lazy or ill-equipped to carry. So I edit my earlier statement. The donkey in chief is just a jackass. Andrew Yang, please try to stop being a jackass. That's it. If he gives me $1,000 a month for the rest of my life, I will not put his head in the toilet.
Well, let me throw this up. Peace to Ron Smart in the building. Let me ask you this, just off top. So this is probably not going to be one of those 15-minute episodes because I have a couple of questions.
Yep.
So there's a parallel that most minorities, quote unquote minorities, understand. Right. Mm-hmm. The understanding is that most times, that's not true for everyone. And I'm not going to say it's even right. OK, most times we're told to act in a way that makes others comfortable with us one way or the other. Right. It depends. It parallels. It might be a different form of action. It might be don't speak slang. It might be more personable. It might be, I don't know, wear red, white and blue, which I thought was a ridiculous thing to ask people to do. But anyway, but I have a few questions. In the face of violence, Martin Luther King told everyone to stand strong and turn the other cheek, basically. Right? I don't think that was the wrong message entirely. I just think that it's not a message that I would say, and I love Martin Luther King. That's one of my, kind of biggest, it's a soft spot for me. You know what I mean?
A lot of people say he's doing great things.
Right. Thank you, jackass of the, shout out to the president, jackass. But in the face of peace, he was murdered. But before that, in the 16th Street Baptist Church, children were bombed and murdered. Mm-hmm. Were the bombers of that church asked to be more American? Mm-hmm. Was Timothy McVeigh ever asked to be more American? Were Emmett Till's murderers ever asked to be more American? At some point, Kev, I feel like we as people of color can no longer adjust. That is it. There is no more adjustments here. There has been fight after fight, protest after protest, death after death, murder after murder, police brutality. The folks, a woman and her 2 children were stabbed in a Walmart or a grocery store by an idiot because they were Asian. The children put in cages for poor immigration standard at best, at worst, what it actually is, which is racism and bigotry. When do minorities in this country, stop adjusting? When do we say, no, it is your turn to knock it off? You need to adjust. Because it just does not seem like we ever ask, and I'm going to use the term white America, but I'm telling you right now that I believe it's more of a supremacist ideology than it is a white race ideology. When do we stop adjusting? It's time to stop that. And I'm not knocking Andrew Yang's personal experience. It's very similar to mine. the ideology that you should kind of be a little more palatable to make people more comfortable with you. You should speak a certain way. As the very second that I achieved a management position at my job, I grew locks. Because my thing was, you are going to have to be comfortable with the idea that a person can speak intelligently and grow different type of hair than you. It's just going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's a protest in a sense. So I think it's time to stop asking everybody to adjust that doesn't need to do any more adjusting. I think people of color, I think brown people, I think migrating or immigrating minorities, I think we've adjusted enough. Whole land been stolen, fam. Whole land been stolen. It's a wrap now. Ain't no more adjusting. We done with that. Everybody else, it's your turn to adjust. And that is, if you buy into this supremacist ideology that people different than you deserve punishment, people different than you are your oppressors, people different than you are the reason why you're not able to be successful in life, or whatever your stupidity is, then you need to figure it out. I'm not figuring out anything anymore. You get it together. I think that's where I stand on this. I'm done with the ideology. And this isn't particularly about Andrew Yang. He just kind of brought this to the forefront for me. It's time to knock it off. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at.
And that's, and I poke fun at Andrew Yang, but it's not new.
No.
It's something that you and I have been dealing with all our lives, and we are of slightly different ages, but our parents dealt with even more so.
Right.
And this is the problem. If we are going to look at what has been going on just in the last 3 years and be able to, at the same time, say, yes, we have laws around citizenship. And for anybody who supports building a wall to say there is an on-off switch associated with American citizenship.
Yeah.
And as much as reasonable people may say, well, okay, but come on, calm down. The way you are treating people who are attempting to be part of the American franchise while they are doing it means something, and in part defines what it means to be American.
Right.
And being humane while doing that means contributes to what it means to be American. But yet you want to define being American as an on-off switch. But then for the rest of us who are not of a certain skin tone or origin, especially at times like these when the idiot has called it the Chinese virus.
Thank you.
For us to have to question that definition of Americanness, not with an on-off switch, but with a dimmer. That's not okay.
It's not okay. It's not okay. Look, I don't have to, and it is nice to do some of the things he listed outside of wearing red, white, and blue. You got to knock that off. But
it might get you shot.
It might. It depends on where you
get you killed quicker than the corona.
For real. I don't have to do any of that, and I'm still American.
Yeah.
I'm in the grocery store. Leave me alone. How about that?
Yeah.
How about it's just that simple? I am in the grocery store. I'm leaving. I tried to send my child to a school that would give them a chance of success in life. Leave my child alone. Like, that's American. Leave me alone. Leave everyone else to achieve and pursue their reasonable happiness. But outside of that, man, I don't want to hear that anyone, I don't care who you are, if you are listening to the sound of my voice right now, you ain't got to do nothing right now to be more American or less American than the next person. If you join the armed forces, that's great. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful thing. And I think that you are, I'm saying from your personal perspective, from the perspective of a soldier, where I've disagreed with quite a bit of military operations, I'm not going to sit up here and say a person that's committed their life to the cause of defending the freedom of America, whether you feel like that's the thing or not, that is your choice. That's wonderful. That does not make you more American than the dude that decided to go work. There's nothing you can do to be more of a countryman, in my opinion, than the next person. Matter of fact, I'll tell you this much. the person that fights for the country and the person that protests against government sanctions that they feel, or government ideals that they feel are harming the country, are equally as important Americans. How about that? How about the protester has done just as much to shape and form America than the person who's fought for it? I mean, I'm just trying to wrap my head around the idea that a person has to work harder to not be stabbed in a grocery store. Like, what more work does a person have to do? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
It's literally the lowest bar.
It's the lowest bar. What do I have to do? It wouldn't matter if the.
I'll take it a step further.
Right.
If you can give me a relatively concise yet detailed description of the 442nd, and also talk to me about the Tuskegee Airmen, and everything they did and contributed to this country, and everything they had to go through during and after they served their country, or if you protested the Vietnam War.
Right.
Or if you're just an idiot who doesn't know anything about anything, and not realize that all those people are just as American
as anybody else.
Then let's not talk about
it. Like my man Jeff said, if you've seen the citizenship test, most of us wouldn't pass that test.
Exactly. You know who does best on those tests? People who just came here.
Exactly.
From other countries.
Yes.
Who speak other languages and who know other religions and ways of life infinitely more articulately and in a more worldly and intellectual fashion than a lot of us do.
Yeah. Fact. So, Andrew Yang, I mean, I understand. I have a lot of respect for how he campaigned. I don't agree with. I'm 50-50 on a lot of his campaigning and agreeing with it or disagreeing with it or whatever. But this is to me, there was no space for conversation here with me in this one, and only because it's something that we do to each other consistently. We, go to work and put your white voice on is a common thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man, whatever. If at the end of the day a person can't respect how you look, how you talk, how you whatever, then they're the problem, and that we have to start dealing with the problem. But anyway, I do.
Can I ask you something? Can I change the subject at some point?
Go ahead. I was about to. I was about to right now. Go ahead.
Why do you hate shook
I was
ones?
just going to change the subject to that. All right, so check it out. This is an explanation from my man Omega. All right, so
okay. So wait, hold on. Is this a true statement that you have a problem with the song "Shook Ones" Part 2?
No.
Is it that you thought there never should have been a sequel to Shook Ones?
The song "Shook Ones" by itself is dope. One of the dopest hip hop songs ever. Period.
Well, so you have a problem with the fans.
I have a problem with. So Shook One marks a time for me. Shook Ones marks a time for me where DJs stopped seeking new underground hip hop music. That song, DJs refused. Hold on. DJs refused to listen to or play anything else. And as a rapper, as a person who was putting out music when Shook Ones was in the constant rotation of underground hip hop clubs and events, it was aggravating and annoying for that song to constantly be in rotation all the time, no matter what. Now, skip ahead to 2020. Matter of fact, it hasn't been a lot of parties in 2020. So let's just go back to 2019. 2019, I could think of several jams. I could think of several artists. I could think of Kev Brown. I could think of Odyssey. I could think of Track Life. I could think of Propaganda. I could think of Triune. I could think of Spontaneous. I could think of Planet Asia. I could think of so many records that have dropped between the time the Shook Ones dropped and now. And the fact that at an old school hip hop party or any party, None of those records have any value because you stopped playing any other record outside of like Shook Ones, Miss Fat Booty, what's the name? Redefinition. Yeah, Redefinition. I was like, come on. There's gotta be more records out there. So to put it all into context, the Crew TV set, shout out to Ablu and Traumatics, Jay Broski, of course, you know, Young Kev Sakota, and at the time though, DJ Buddy and everybody was around. And of course Data One. I had a flat out mandate that we no longer play Shook Ones. We at the very least play Burn. At the very least, play Burn.
Oh, Burn.
Yeah. At the very least, play Burn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not.
Also,
yeah.
by the way, you could, as a DJ, you could drop Burn a lot easier than you could drop Shook Ones with that offbeat intro.
Way easier.
But so you have been ahead of your time. You were socially distancing yourself from Shook Ones long before
Shook Ones
COVID.
and Lucchini and Redefinition. I've been
Right,
social distancing myself.
I need to go pour myself some amaretto.
So sick of those songs. So sick of them. I'm sick of every single song. I'm sick of them. All of them. I used to love Nas's Like. Used to love it. And I was so done with Nas's Like by the time I had been emceeing Underground Hip Hop Show. I was like, yo, Blue and Exile just dropped a record. Why are you not playing? You have a computer. Play the songs. Okay. Pac Div dropped a record around the time. I never heard Pac Div. I feel like I was the only me and Mark Love and what's Homeboy name? And I'm sorry that that the name doesn't come to me right now. But there were only like 5 of us out of 9,000 LA DJs that were playing Pac Div in open environments where you could play it. Like where you could be like, okay, open format, man, play. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like House Shoes was playing Pac Div. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. Like, play something else. There's hella something else. Okay, I'm done. I think we lost like 20 listeners right now. All right. So yeah,
Stab your brain stab your brain with your nose bone?
Rock you in the face, violent. Stab your brain with your nose bone. You all alone in these streets, cousin. I know the record's one of the freshest records ever. It's not
very, very
that verse
violent.
on there though versus Keep It Thorough. Ooh, that man Prodigy on Keep It Thorough though, boy. God, dog. I don't even know what he was. I don't know what he was on when he wrote that record.
In this day and age, does Throw a TV at You Crazy really hold the same weight?
Well, we joked about that. Like, well, no, it makes it even crazier, right? Because he had to rip the TV off the wall.
No. I would argue that was still in the era of tube TVs.
That's what I'm saying.
That could kill you. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying in the era of tube TVs, it was crazy. But in the current era, it's even crazier because now I got to.
That's just a fussy tantrum nowadays.
I don't know, man. You got to rip the TV off the wall or unscrew it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's yeah.
All right.
You're silly.
Word up. All right. All right, man. Thank y'all for tuning in to Rap Sucks Radio, man. You know, we soapbox today, but I think it was well needed, man. That needed to be said. And hopefully Andrew Yang, you know, we know he's a regular listener of the show, so hopefully he that look. You can catch us live on Instagram at around 8 o'clock Sunday through Thursday. Hope y'all have a great week. Catch us on rapsucksradio.com to catch up on all the past episodes or any of your favorite podcasting platforms. We on there. We out here hustling. So, on behalf of my man Kev Sakota, my name is Trek Life, and on the count of 3 we say peace. 1, 2, 3. Peace. That was perfectly on time this time. You did it. You did it, Kev.
I'm out of here.
All right, go back to sleep. Peace.